Hello and welcome back to day 3 on Adapt, Improvise, and Implement. Just a quick recap. The last 2 days, we have touched upon 4 tips covering how to be adaptable and adapt to the scenarios and circumstances we currently face. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to cover how to improvise. But before we get into the tips, here's a small clarification. Improvise is different from innovate. Improvise basically means to utilize the resources available with one in terms of business or individually, and to make something new out of existing resources. That's what we're going to focus on this Wednesday and tomorrow on Thursday. Today, we are going to cover 2 tips on how to improvise and get the control that you've learned to do, take action. The first, get workarounds. Once you've broken your problem down into small, tiny, bite-sized issues, and you've taken a stock of the resources available, you're aware of what's happening all around within the market, in the industry, with the customers, and you understand how your employees, your team can help, and you've delegated some of that work, and you've got into strategizing new ways, new ideas. You're now fully adaptable to the circumstances and you're taking charge. What happens when you take charge is you start looking at the resources that you have in a different light. And that's where improvisation comes into play. So workarounds are very simple, quick processes that take you around the issue that you're facing. So if something is not working and you've identified exactly why is it not working and you've looked at the resources, you will find a solution to go around it. Literally, that's what it means, a workaround. And these will come up through discussions. They will not come up individually. They will not come up in just looking into space or wondering what to do. And it doesn't have to be always financial or other resource related issues. They come up through conversations. So to get workarounds going, go back to what you did with getting in control, which is go back to your teams, go back to your people, your customers, have conversations. Take something as simple as inviting your top 5 or top 10 customers who contribute 60 to 70% of your business revenue into a simple web-based conference call, or could be a group WhatsApp call, and share with them that here's the process issue and I want to work a workaround. What suggestions do you have? And you'd be surprised when you reach out how many ideas are actually generated. And from a customer facing perspective in marketing, I can assure you 9 out of 10 customers feel very honored to be actually asked to provide their perspective on certain such issues like this, where you create workarounds. They feel part of the business of the buyer that they're buying from. And that creates an experience, that creates a bonding. So get workarounds as a first step in improvising. It helps you to reduce time, reduce cost, and actually deliver what you need to deliver in a proactive manner, keeping you in control, showing you're adapting to the scenario, you're making changes that actually show that you're moving with the time at hand. That's the benefit of looking at workarounds that looks and delivers what your customer, your employee, your community actually needs from a business perspective. From an individual perspective, and I'm flipping it, usually I speak individual first and then I speak business, but I'm flipping it today a little bit. Look at what is withholding you. Now, this is a conversation you have with yourself at a certain point in time if you're looking at self-development, self-growth. So it could be from a career perspective. It could be from growing your own business or scaling your startup. It could be many facets, but look at it by putting a pen to paper and actually articulating or writing down what you think is the issue. And then follow the same process under adaptive, which is break that issue into small little bits. And you would find that you are able to reach out to somebody somewhere, take some advice, take some feedback, and create a workaround to go around that issue that's bothering you individually. So from an individual perspective, as well as at the workplace, these tips are going to help you to be better than you were yesterday individually, and make your business better in terms of the service and the experience it was delivering to its employees and its people. The next one that we are going to go into is going to be the main tip about communication. I'm going to start this with three words: communicate, communicate, communicate. I cannot emphasize more on the importance of communication during this point in time. In an adaptive and improvisation mode and stage, it is extremely critical to actually over communicate if necessary. Communicate openly and transparently, both with your employees, your teams internally, as well as to your clients, your customers, and your business partners externally. It's full communication and over communication helps people to understand your intent, which is to serve from a business perspective, from an individual perspective, the client, the person concerned that you're interacting with. And the communication is critical to ensure that what the choices you've made, the actions you're taking, the outcome that you want to have are clearly understood. And when you communicate, a conversation occurs. And what happens in a conversation, as we know, there's a to and fro. The to and fro gives you information. There's feedback, there's information. At each stage, as you get feedback and information, you adapt and you go back to delivering till the experience you want your brand and your business to communicate and give and make the employees and the customer feel occurs. So communicate as extensively as you can, because without communicating, it's going to be very, very difficult for people to understand what is your thought process. And this brings us to a very critical point where change occurs, you're adaptive, you're looking at improvisation. And by you, I mean you as an individual senior leader, a senior professional, a senior executive, a business owner. But, and a big but, people don't know what is your thought process, which is why I said communicate, communicate, communicate. Because until and unless you communicate the thinking, the process that you're going through, people will not be able to understand and comprehend why you are taking the action that you're taking, what is the benefit of the action to them as the recipient of it, and how can they help you or how can they act, which is where the experience bit comes into play, the experience that your business and your brand is delivering. There is an emotional engagement that occurs when you communicate, because in communication, we use words, we use pictures. Whichever way you communicate, through video marketing, like I'm doing right now, live talking to you, I'm communicating using video, my body language, and my words. There are three elements over here in trying to make you comprehend the importance of these tips in helping you adapt and improvise to the scenario we are all in and go forward. That's the objective that communication does. So the more you communicate, the better it is for yourself as well as for your brand and ultimately for your business. That's the second tip under Improvise. So to recap today's session, it's two tips under the improvisation section. One, get workarounds. The workarounds are using your existing resources that you have available, looking at the processes and identifying exactly where the issue is, where's the bottleneck, and then creating a sub process or a workaround. Sorry if I'm going into a bit of jargon, but that's the only way that I can explain it, which is you circumvent the old process which is not working efficiently by using the resources you have, make a shortcut, if I may use that term, and deliver. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is communicate. Talk, engage, share your thought process with your team, with your employees, with your clients, with your business partners. And these are a series of open, frank, transparent communication conversations that take place where you, as the leader, business owner, senior professional, get information and feedback. These two are vital for you to go back into your be in control area under being adaptive. I hope this has been helpful. Today's one is a short one, but tomorrow I'll be back with 2 more tips on Improvise quadrant and we'll take it ahead. Have a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you